Every human has problems. If you can't think of any right now, well, that's amazing. But give it time, something will come up. Problems exist. Big, small, old, new, past, present, future problems. And how good are we at understanding our biggest problems, or even better, our biggest problem? Well, just like people have problems, cities have problems too. And that's in part what Chattanooga Mayor Tim Kelly was trying to lay out, describe, define in his One Chattanooga plan.
These are difficult topics. They're topics, I think, that a lot of politicians with future political ambition tend to sweep under the rug because they're uncomfortable topics. But I think they're so important that they need to be addressed head on. And frankly, again, we've been sweeping them under the rug here for too long in Chattanooga. And ultimately, we have to address them in order to move forward as a community.
This is Tomorrow Town, Tennessee. This is the podcast telling the stories of the people who call the Tennessee Valley home, examining their problems and talking to those working on solutions to move this place forward. I'm Josh Roe. I'll be your host for this journey. Chattanooga Mayor Tim Kelly unveiled his One Chattanooga plan to the public for the first time about a year ago in May 2022. Before that, he and his staff spent a lot of time working on it, tweaking it, holding listening sessions around town, getting input. The plan is a strategic framework to achieve the Kelly administration's goals. The title of the plan, One Chattanooga, comes from the idea that there are two Chattanoogas. One Chattanooga for those who are economically doing well, and one Chattanooga for those who are struggling financially. To quote the plan, national research shows that Chattanooga is one of the worst cities in America to grow up poor. The plan lists 7 goals and 40 key priorities or initiatives and 11 principles. And we're not going to get too far in the weeds on that here. But if you like the weeds, there's a link in the show notes in the description of this episode. Tim Kelly has been Chattanooga's mayor for 2 years. If you want to hear more about his first 2 years in office, we have an entire episode on just that. But during that conversation, I asked him, how do you measure if you're doing a good job being the mayor? He pointed directly to his One Chattanooga plan.
Everything from early learning to affordable housing to increasing the vitality, the economic vitality of the community broadly, but specifically the Black community. And that's how we measure it, is progress against those goals. I mean, I think everybody's familiar with the fact that obviously we want to see crime numbers go down. We want to see affordable housing be more plentiful. We want to see our point in time count go down with our homeless numbers. Those are the 3 big ones that we're really focused on broadly. Over and above that, though, we also look at jobs, right, and job creation and economic growth. And I spent a tremendous amount of my time on that. And of course, that is a very long game. It's a bit like farming. You have to plant a lot of seeds in order to grow what you want to grow, and it takes a while, right? So, but this is going to be a big year, and I think we have all those numbers moving in the direction we want them to move.
Mayor Kelly uses the plan to determine how he's doing and what he's doing. He says he uses it to determine where to focus his time.
We get incoming requests. I mean, my God, I get hundreds of requests in the course of a month to, show up to, read to kids at school or do a ribbon cutting or, go to a veterans event, which I just came from. And so, you just have to prioritize and fit everything in that you can. And that is exactly what I do.
And you will hear those words, One Chattanooga, that branding, if you will, tied to many of the initiatives from the Kelly administration, such as the One Chattanooga Relief and Recovery Plan or the One Chattanooga Affordable Action Plan, all part of his administration's overall vision for the city. When Mayor Tim Kelly was mayoral candidate Tim Kelly, he spent a lot of time just talking to people, walking through neighborhoods, knocking on doors. He says that experience helped him as he started thinking about what needs to be inside this plan.
Just knocking on doors, thousands of Chattanoogans. And I heard a lot about it prior to that. in my work in the nonprofit community, both as a, working in various volunteer roles in nonprofits across Chattanooga, and then as chairman of the community foundation here, as a trustee at Benwood. I mean, that's what our large, robust philanthropic ecosystem here, and we do have one. I mean, that's what they're working on. Is the same thing that government's working on. We're just going at it in different ways. And it was really that work, that led me to the One Chattanooga plan, and in fact to the mayor's office. I mean, that's the thing that frustrated me more than anything into thinking that, well, I suppose I'm going to have to run for mayor if we're going to continue to make progress in this area, because these are difficult topics. They're topics, I think, that a lot of politicians with future political ambition tend to sweep under the rug because they're uncomfortable topics. But I think they're so important that they need to be addressed head on. And frankly, again, we've been sweeping them under the rug here for too long in Chattanooga. And ultimately, we have to address them in order to move forward as a community. Again, we have an incredible nonprofit community here, an incredible community of partners in the educational world. And that is what it's going to take, working together. I mean, City Hall cannot solve these things. We have a leadership role to play. But the point of the One Chattanooga plan was to run that flag up the flagpole and rally people around it to say, these are the things that we have got to fix if we're going to move forward as a community. And I'm fortunate, in that County Mayor Wamp we don't see eye to eye on everything, but he shares this passion for education as the great equalizer. And through different angles and lenses, I think we can work to improve education from pre-K all the way through post-secondary to really transform this community. And that's really where we're focused.
If you're not in the city or from the city, there's something to consider here. For a long time, Chattanooga has had a reputation as the city that works together to solve problems from the private sector, local government, philanthropic groups. People in the city find ways to make progress. I asked Mayor Kelly from where he sits, does he see all these areas coming together as we've always been told they did?
I absolutely do. Maybe more so now than ever. I think that was one of the plans of having a plan and putting it out there and asking. We did, and we asked people that we respected, and quite a few people in the nonprofit and philanthropic sector before we released that plan to review it and give us feedback. But again, I talked to mayors from around the country, around the world, in fact, and Chattanooga does have this well-deserved and somewhat extraordinary reputation of being able to get things done across the aisle, whether it's politically, the private sector and the philanthropic sector. And so that's as healthy as it's ever been. And again, we can't make progress in a lot of these areas, particularly around affordable housing, public safety and education. These are all efforts that require robust public-private partnerships.
We want to hit one more topic in this story today, and that is culture. In the part of the plan where it lists the 11 principles, there's a quote from Peter Drucker. Drucker, an author famous for books on management. This is the quote: "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." It's a good quote, and it's clear for Tim Kelly, culture matters.
It's about purpose and vision and focus. And again, I hate to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but the One Chattanooga plan, which I didn't even realize at the time, actually became a great recruiting tool. I mean, being from business, I think my strength in coming into this office was really around organizational management, which is really a fancy term for team building. And it is about building teams and getting teams focused on a mission together. And that plan has actually been really effective at helping bring in very, very talented people, both from outside the city and inside the city, who are bought in, who believe in what we're doing, and aren't just here to punch a clock because it's a government job, but believe in the potential for Chattanooga to be the greatest city in America, and think that the One Chattanooga plan is a good blueprint for the way forward.
He also said this about culture specific to the city of Chattanooga.
The tendency of government can be just kind of to fall back rather than move forward. right? The status quo is easy to defend. There's nobody, again, we're not going out of business over here for lack of customers. Everybody's got to pay their taxes. And so we have to substitute a sense of urgency around here that would otherwise come through market forces. And so that's my job, right? I mean, and that can be difficult, right? To kind of light a fire under certain departments and people and initiatives. Again, we don't talk a lot about reform, but we're doing a tremendous amount of reform just beneath the surface in terms of reorienting departments and people.
I want to back up and draw your attention to one thing Kelly said there in the conversation on culture.
That plan has actually been really effective at helping bring in very, very talented people, both from outside the city and inside the city, who are bought in, who believe in what we're doing, and aren't just here to punch a clock because it's a government job, but believe in the potential for Chattanooga to be the greatest city in America.
And that's an interesting idea, right? Hiring people who truly believe in the potential for Chattanooga to be the greatest city in America. And for any of us who work for anyone, any business, any sector, or if you are running a company or managing a team, that's a powerful thought. What if all your coworkers or employees, or even most of them, truly believed in the potential for a company, an organization to become the greatest in America? How would that change how you lead? How would that change what you asked of the people you are trying to lead? To fix any problem, first you have to know what the problem is. You have to identify it, and that is what Tim Kelly and his staff are trying to do with this One Chattanooga plan. But they also say it's fluid. It's a first step, and they will make changes as needed along the way. And we'll be here to document how it changes and what gets the most attention and how it improves the city, or as we like to say on this show, how it moves this place forward. Okay, before we go, we have now released a couple of episodes. I wanted to share a few things with you, our listeners. First off, as I'm sure you hear as you listen to podcasts, if you like the show, please follow us. Leave a comment. That's how many of the platforms determine if your podcast is doing well, and that in turn will help more people find us. And if you do leave a comment, it also helps us decide how to make these shows in the future. What do you like? What topics would you like us to tackle? Over the next few months, you will hear us use different formats, like the one you heard today is more of a narrative form, but we try to put the mayor's full responses in, or at least let them be long. We will do some episodes that have a heavier narrative style, more storytelling, shorter interview clips, and some episodes will be full interviews. As you hear the different shows and formats, tell us what you think. Also, my goal is to release new episodes every other Thursday, so Tomorrowtown, Tennessee Thursdays. Alliteration. I hope to have these episodes in your feed by the time you wake up on Thursday, whenever you wake up. That schedule will change from time to time because of a breaking news episode or staffing adjustments maybe. So when there are schedule changes, I will post all updates on my Facebook page. That is WTVC's Josh Roe. If you're not familiar, WTVC, those are the call letters for the TV station where I work, and that produces this podcast. So WTVC's Josh Roe, just go there, like the page, and when there's an update, that will hopefully turn up in your Facebook feed. You will also get lots of posts about veterans or news about Chattanooga, so just be warned about that. And finally, thank you. It really means a lot to me that you would take your valuable time and listen. So I just want to say thank you. You are awesome. That's it. Those are all the things. Tomorrowtown, Tennessee is a production of NewsChannel 9, Fox Chattanooga, and Sinclair Broadcasting Chattanooga. We'll be back here with a new episode real soon. Thanks for listening. You're the best. And you're awesome. I mean it. You're my favorite. Yeah, you.